Lebanon. Let's bring in Major Glenn Ignazio on this, retired Air Force Special Operations Commander. So we'll get to the wider war concerns in a moment. I'm wondering, though, if you have a thought on this back and forth Joe was just talking about, Netanyahu, Biden, Israel, and the U.S., and what the impact of this is, whether the meeting was canceled or rescheduled or whatever happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, as we've talked about in the past, there's a lot of politics being played right now in our election year. But the biggest thing is about what precedes. I saw the Netanyahu speech and his statement, and it wasn't really profound or anything that was really inflammatory. He was basically saying to Blinken, hey, we really need these things. And Blinken was saying there's some bottlenecks he needs to work through. That's fine. We do know that those bombs were held back in a certain shipment prior because of what was going on in Gaza. But we have to remember the bigger picture. People were focusing very tactically, is that these weapon systems are also to protect them against Hezbollah and others. So it can't be so myopically focused. So yes, this is an impact to the entire stability to Israel going forward if we are not providing those particular weapons.
On that Hezbollah issue, I want to talk to you about that, but let me play a longer excerpt of Netanyahu explaining his position. Here's the Israeli Prime Minister.
It's inconceivable that in the past few months, the administration has been withholding weapons and ammunition to Israel. Israel, America's closest ally, fighting for its life, fighting against Iran and our other common enemies. Secretary Blinken assured me that the administration is working day and night to remove these bottlenecks. I certainly hope that's the case. It should be the case.
That does sound like someone, Glenn, is trying to send a message. I know you say it's no big deal, but he clearly seemed like he was trying to send a pretty clear message to the White House. I could see why they wouldn't be so thrilled with it.
Yeah, definitely. As far as vocal it is, but one of the things is how specific. We see these generic terms of holding shipments, and we're sending them plenty, but it's more specific to what has actually happened. Were there shipments that were held and paused, like those 2,000-pound bombs? Yeah, but what other systems or other platforms may have been held, or are there bottlenecks in production? These are really the details that need to be known versus sort of this overarching message. But if Netanyahu is saying that he needs something, we really need to pay attention to that, because again, not just of what's going on in Gaza that everybody's focused on. You have an incredible adversary that is very formidable, which is Hezbollah north of them. So, we got to get rid of the rhetoric and the politics.
I think that's the bigger story of the week in many ways, to your point. So let's go on to the maps here, which are on our tablet. You talked about Gaza we all know about, but this area up here in Lebanon is now what a lot of people are focused on. Wall Street Journal headline about that talks about the risk of a wider war, escalating clashes between Israel and Hezbollah, raising that risk. This one is about the delays moving forward with the F-15 sale that we just referenced. But on the risk of a wider war, Glenn, I think I don't know if it's hyperbole to say, but is it wider now than it's been since October 7th, and in terms of the risk, at least, a bigger risk now than it's been?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw that with the attacks back and forth with Iran, but you have to remember, as Hezbollah and Hamas, they're all the tentacles of the center of Iran. And what's happened is Hezbollah launched those rockets and attacks against Israel the day after Hamas struck Israel. And so that has been sort of a solidarity. Now, since all those things that were public and very visible state on state with Iran and Israel, they're still able to emphasize and utilize Hezbollah. And that's what we're seeing. There is a point between Israel and Lebanon that has UN peacekeepers in there, but it's just not really been anything formidable to stop Hezbollah from attacking. They are huge. They are significant. They are a formidable enemy, and there would be a tremendous amount of damage to Israel if there was a conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. It'd be an entire different environment.
Right. Rockets flying back and forth over the border are one thing. An all-out war between the two sides is something completely different. Before you go, completely different subject, if I just get your thoughts on what's happening in North Korea and how significant it is, especially to the war in Ukraine, which you follow so closely. The red carpet essentially rolled out by Kim Jong-un for Vladimir Putin today. What does it mean?
Yeah, absolutely. First time in over 25 years, the relationship is tighter. We're definitely seeing what Korea needs, Russia's going to take care of. What Russia needs, North Korea is going to take care of. And they're supplying it via train, so we can't really intercept it on the seas. So yes, this relationship is tighter. And they are definitely getting around sanctions with the basically the crosstalk with the weapons. And that is something that Russia is going to utilize and has been utilizing in Ukraine. So it does not make the situation in Ukraine any better. And in fact, on a global scale, it could give Korea more space and missile technology, which is what Russia has. That's to be concerning.
And they've signed that mutual aid pact that happened today. Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un. Glenn Ignacio, thank you. We always appreciate your analysis as we continue.